Hello, and welcome back to the Everyday English Podcast, the place where we turn your daily life into a learning opportunity. This is the show where we take real conversations, break them down into slow, clear English, and help you build the confidence to speak like a pro. I am your host, Sarah, and I am so happy you are joining us today for another deep dive into business English.
And I am Mark, happy to be here with you all. Today we have a very special episode planned. It is something that I think almost every English learner struggles with at some point. It is not about grammar rules, and it is not about memorizing long lists of idioms. It is about how you sound when you talk about your work.
Exactly, Mark. You know, we often hear from our listeners who say, Sarah, I know my grammar is correct. I know I am making sense. But when I speak in a meeting or when I talk to my boss, I feel like I sound like a student. I do not feel like a manager or an expert. I feel young.
That is such a common pain. You do the hard work, you have the professional skills, but your English vocabulary might be making you sound a little bit less experienced than you actually are. We call this the credit gap. You do the work of a senior manager, but you describe it with the vocabulary of a junior assistant.
That is a perfect way to describe it. The credit gap. Today, we are going to close that gap. We are going to do a verb detox. We are going to take 5 or 6 very common, very basic verbs that you probably use every day, words like do, make, look at, and fix, and we are going to throw them in the trash. Well, maybe not the trash, but we are going to put them away for casual conversation.
Right. We are going to replace them with what we call power verbs. These are the specific words that native speakers use in business to sound authoritative, precise, and professional. By the end of this episode, you will be able to take a simple sentence like, I did the report, and turn it into a power sentence that makes your boss sit up and listen.
So grab your coffee, or if you are commuting, turn up the volume. Let's get started with our first category, the do and make trap. Mark, why do we call this a trap?
It is a trap because do and make are the safety verbs. They are the first verbs you learn in English. You do your homework, you make dinner. You do the laundry, you make a mistake. They are safe. They are never grammatically wrong. If you say, I did the project, nobody will say that is incorrect English.
But, and here is the big but, they are weak. They are generic. When you say, I did the project, it tells me nothing about your specific contribution. Did you write it? Did you lead it? Did you research it? Do flattens your achievement. It makes your hard work sound like a simple chore.
Exactly. So let's look at our first power verb upgrade. This is when you are talking about completing a task, a plan, or a strategy. Instead of saying, I did the plan or we did the strategy, we want you to use the word execute.
Execute. E-X-E-C-U-T-E. Execute. Now, Mark, execute sounds a bit serious. It sounds almost military.
It is serious, and that is why it works. To execute means to carry out a plan completely and successfully. It implies that there was a strategy, and you were the one who made it happen. It sounds active.
Let's hear the difference. Listen to this first sentence. This is the weak version. I did the marketing plan last week. It's okay. It's fine. But now, listen to the power version. I executed the marketing plan last week.
Can you hear the difference? I executed the marketing plan. It sounds like you took ownership. It sounds like you drove the results.
Let's try another one. Imagine you are in a job interview. The interviewer asks you about your experience. You could say, I did many projects. Or you could say, I executed multiple high-value projects. Mark, which one would you hire?
I am hiring the person who executed, absolutely. It suggests competence. Now, let's move to a sibling of execute. What if you aren't talking about a plan? What if you were talking about research or a survey or an audit? You often hear students say, I did some research.
Yes, I did research is very common, but the power verb swap here is conduct. C-O-N-D-U-C-T. Conduct.
To conduct means to organize and perform a specific activity. We usually use it with words like research, survey, investigation, or audit. It sounds scientific. It sounds organized.
So instead of saying, we did a survey to ask customers what they think, you would say, we conducted a customer satisfaction survey.
That sounds much more professional. Let's practice that one. I want our listeners to shadow us. I will say the sentence, and then I will leave a quiet space for you to repeat it out loud. Are you ready? Here's the sentence. We conducted a comprehensive audit. We conducted a comprehensive audit. Excellent. One more time. I conducted the research myself. I conducted the research myself. Perfect. You are already sounding more senior. Now, Sarah, what about when we are talking about people? Often managers will say, I watch the team, or I look after the team, or simply, I do the management. This is a huge opportunity for an upgrade. If you are a manager, or if you want to be a manager, you need to stop saying watch or look after. The power verb here is oversee. O-V-E-R-S-E-E. Oversee.
To oversee means to be in charge of a group of people or a project, and to make sure that everything is done correctly. It implies responsibility. It implies a bird's eye view. You are not just watching, you are ensuring quality. So the weak version is, I watched the new project team. The strong version is, I oversaw the new project team. Or, I oversee the daily operations of the sales department. That sounds like a leader. So we have execute for plans, conduct for research, and oversee for management. Those are your replacements for do and watch. Now, Mark, let's tackle make. Make is everywhere. I made a report. We made some money. I made a relationship with the client. Again, it sounds a little bit childish. It sounds like you are building something with Lego blocks. Let's upgrade make. If you are talking about creating something abstract, like revenue or profit or a report, use the word generate. G-E-N-E-R-A-T-E. Generate. Generate sounds like an engine. It sounds powerful. You don't make new sales leads. You generate leads. You don't make a report. You generate a report. Generate implies that you used a process to create the result. So instead of saying, our team made a lot of sales this quarter, say, our team generated record sales this quarter. That is a resume bullet point right there. Generated record sales. It sounds dynamic. What if we are talking about people and connections? You often hear, I made a good relationship with the supplier. For relationships, rules, or systems, we want to use the word establish. E-S-T-A-B-L-I-S-H. Establish. To establish means to set up on a firm or permanent basis. It sounds solid. I established a strong partnership with the key stakeholders. Compare that to I made a partnership. Establish sounds like it is built to last. It implies you did the hard work of building trust. So quick review. Instead of make a report, say generate a report. Instead of make a connection, say establish a connection. Before we move on to the next set of verbs, I want to take a quick second to talk to our listeners. If you are enjoying this lesson, and if you want to make sure you never miss a daily practice session, please make sure you are subscribed to the Everyday English podcast. We are here every day to help you fit English into your life, whether you are washing the dishes or driving to work. Subscribing helps us keep generating. See what I did there? Generating these episodes for you. Very smooth, Sarah. Yes, please subscribe so we can help you establish your fluency. Now let's move to the mind, the verbs of thinking. This is big. In meetings, we often share our opinions or our thought processes. It is very common to hear people say, I thought about the problem, or we looked at the data. Think and look at. They are passive. If you say, I looked at the data, it sounds like you just stared at the spreadsheet with your eyes. It doesn't tell me that your brain was working. Exactly. We need verbs that show cognitive work, verbs that show brain power. The first one is a direct swap for look at when you are examining information. The word is analyze. A-N-A-L-Y-S-E. Analyze. To analyze means to examine something in detail, typically for purposes of explanation and interpretation. You don't just look at the sales figures. You analyze the sales figures to find trends. So the weak version, I looked at the numbers and I think they are good. The power version, I analyze the numbers and the trend looks positive. Let's try that with a shadowing exercise. This is a very professional sentence you can use in any meeting. Listen closely. We need to analyze the data before we decide. We need to analyze the data before we decide. Very good. It sounds cautious and smart. Now, what if you are judging a situation? Maybe there is a problem or a risk. You might say, I'm thinking about the problem. Thinking about is vague. Are you worrying about it? Are you daydreaming about it? A better, stronger verb here is assess. A-S-S-E-S-S. Assess. To assess means to evaluate or estimate the nature, ability, or quality of something. You assess the damage, you assess the risk, you assess the candidate's skills. It implies you are making a professional judgment based on evidence. So imagine your boss asks, "Is this project risky?" Instead of saying, "I thought about it and it seems okay," you say, "I assessed the risks and they are manageable." I assessed the risks. That sounds like you used a methodology. It gives your opinion weight. One more in this category. What if you are just looking for new ideas? We are looking for other ways to do this. Looking for is okay, but it sounds a bit like you lost your keys and you are looking for them under the sofa. Right, it sounds a bit desperate. The power verb upgrade is explore. E-X-P-L-O-R-E. Explore. To explore means to inquire into or discuss in detail. It sounds adventurous but structured. We are exploring new market opportunities. We should explore alternative solutions. It sounds proactive. We are looking for ideas sounds like you are waiting for them to appear. We are exploring ideas sounds like you are hunting for them. So we swap look at for analyze. We swap think about for assess. And we swap look for explore. Just these 3 words will make you sound much more intellectual and strategic in your meetings. And here's a little bonus tip for those of you taking English exams like IELTS or TOEFL. Using these specific verbs, analyze, assess, explore, will boost your vocabulary score significantly in the essay writing section. Examiners love these words because they show precise meaning.
That is a great point, Mark. Business English is often just academic English applied to work, so these tips help everyone. Now, let's move to the final category of the day, the fix verbs. Things go wrong in business, problems happen, and when they do, you need to tell your boss that you handled it. The default word here is fix. I fixed the problem. We need to fix the schedule. Can you fix this error? Fix is a handyman word. You fix a leaking pipe. You fix a broken chair. In a corporate environment, we want to sound like problem solvers, not mechanics. So the first upgrade, when you have a conflict, a disagreement, or a specific issue like a customer complaint, don't say fix, say resolve. R-E-S-O-L-V-E, resolve. To resolve means to settle or find a solution to a problem, dispute, or contentious matter. It sounds final. It sounds diplomatic. I resolved the customer complaint. We need to resolve this billing issue. It implies that the problem is gone and everyone is happy. Fixed focuses on the broken object. Resolved focuses on the solution and the outcome. It is a much more positive word. Now, what if you are introducing a new software, or a new rule, or a change in the schedule? You might say, "We are doing a change," or "We are changing the system." Change is neutral. It can be good or bad. A power verb that shows you are putting a plan into action is implement. I-M-P-L-E-M-E-N-T. Implement. To implement means to put a decision, plan, or agreement into effect. You don't just do a change. You implement a new policy. You implement a security update. So the weak version, I changed the filing system. The power version, I implemented a new filing system. The second one sounds like a project. The first one sounds like you just moved some papers around. And finally, what if something isn't broken, but you want to make it better? You want to make it faster or cheaper. You might say, "I want to make the process better." Make better is very simple. The power verb for making something as perfect, effective, or functional as possible is optimize. O-P-T-I-M-I-Z-E. Optimize. I love this word, optimize. It sounds very modern and efficient. We need to optimize our website. I want to optimize our spending. It means you are tweaking it to get the maximum result. If you say, "I fixed the budget," it implies the budget was wrong. If you say, "I optimized the budget," it implies you are a financial wizard who saved money. So let's recap the fix category. Use resolve for problems and conflicts. Use implement for changes and plans. And use optimize for improvements. Mark, we have covered a lot of vocabulary today. We have execute, conduct, oversee, generate, establish, analyze, assess, explore, resolve, implement, and optimize. That is 11 new words in your toolkit. It is a powerful list. But Sarah, we need to add a small warning here. A warning label, if you will. Yes, the tone check. These are power verbs. They are formal, they are professional. They belong in meetings, emails, reports, and interviews. They do not belong at the lunch table. Exactly. If you are having a sandwich with your colleague and you say, "I am going to execute this sandwich," you will sound like a robot or a weirdo. Or if you say, "I conducted a conversation with my mother yesterday," that is too formal. It sounds cold. So remember, context is key. Use simple verbs for simple personal life. Use power verbs for professional business results. So, how do our listeners start using these? It can be overwhelming to try and change your whole vocabulary at once. We always recommend taking small steps. So, here is our challenge for you today. We call it the email audit. The email audit. I like the sound of that. How does it work? It is very simple. Before you send your next work email, whether it is to a colleague, boss, or a client, I want you to pause. Don't hit send yet. Read through what you have written. Scan your email for the weak words we discussed today. Look for the words do, make, look at, check, or fix. If you find one of those words, stop. Ask yourself, can I upgrade this? Can I change I did the report to I generated the report? Can I change I looked at your attachment to I analyzed your attachment? Just try to swap one verb per email. That is it, just one. If you do that, you will start to build the habit, and soon these power verbs will come naturally to your tongue during meetings. It really is that simple, one word at a time, and you will be amazed at how people respond to you differently. Words carry weight. When you use heavy, strong words, people treat you like a heavy, strong contender in the business world. That is the truth. And remember, you don't have to memorize this whole list instantly. You can listen to this episode again. In fact, we recommend listening to it tomorrow morning on your way to work to refresh your memory before you step into the office. Shadow the sentences again. Practice the pronunciation. Get your mouth used to the shape of these longer, more complex words. Implement, optimize, make them your own. And if you found this episode helpful, if you feel a little bit more ready to execute your next meeting, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us optimize our reach to help more students like you. I see what you are doing there, Mark. And you're right. We appreciate every single one of you listening. You are investing time in yourself, and that is the most important project you can ever oversee.
Thank you so much for listening to the Everyday English podcast. We are here to help you live your daily life in English with confidence and clarity. Go out there, conduct yourself with confidence, and we will talk to you in the next episode. Bye for now. Goodbye.